Hey, what's it like to own a piece of property out in the middle of nowhere with river access, no neighbors, out in the middle of BLM, mile and a half of riverfront? Let's go check it out. Let's hit the road. So my buddy who owns the place now had been looking for a piece of property, a bug out kind of property. He had sold a business and was looking for something that he could build a cabin on, be off the grid, just have something adventurous. And the reasoning behind it was the moment COVID hit, we both knew that everybody and their dog and their grandmother was going to be looking for bug out properties in Central and Eastern Oregon. And anyway, went out there. The place is incredible. You're in the wild and scenic section of the John Day River. Other than the driveway getting to this property and a couple properties beyond it, it's a roadless area. There's very, very little traffic. It is gated. There's no access for the public from the point of this property all the way to the town of Monument. Usually have to go through all this hustle and bustle of getting yourself packed up, getting the Polaris packed up, packing your clothes, your gear. You're getting out of the valley. When you're going over the top of the mountains, like where we are right here, we're just starting to head down into the rain shadow of the Cascades. Everything starts to open up. And there's a quote from a Ken Kesey book on Sometimes a Great Notion, and I don't know the quote, but essentially it was like the forest in the Cascade Mountains and down on the coastal range. It's almost like a jail cell bars. And so once you get over on the eastern side of the Cascades, everything starts to open up, and it kind of gives you that feeling of wide open freedom. So anyway, I usually stop on the top of the pass, get a view. Everything kind of starts to melt away. The spaces are more wide open, and that's when you start to enjoy the rest of your trip to get to the property. Yeah, how you doing?
Well, I just pulled over outside Camp Sherman to have a little breakfast snack.
Where are you at?
Where are you at?
Well, coming up on Camp Sherman, I think. We just Black Butte. Never.
All right.
Yeah, you got started early and we got started late. We already started filming.
Oh, really?
Ryan's got me doing like road rules, or what kind of theme are you talking about, Ryan?
Top Gear.
Top Gear, kind of Grand Tour, what it's like to own 600 acres out in the middle of nowhere. And so he's got a GoPro on the front and the back for time lapse for the trip, from showing the trip from the valley to get over there, and I don't know, it's gonna be interesting.
All right, well let's communicate again, maybe a little later, and see how close we are to each other.
Yeah.
And then just so you know, I got stuff to make for lunch snacks.
Okay.
For you guys.
Oh man, it's catered. It's catered. Yeah. Sounds good, man.
Right.
We'll see you then.
Okay.
Bye.
Through Prineville yet?
Yeah, I think we're going through Madras now.
Madras? If you're going through Madras, you're going the wrong way.
No, we're in Prineville.
We're in Prineville. How do you know that?
It's
All right.
Prineville right there.
Oh, it does? Okay. Yeah, we're going through Prineville.
David Mitchell.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. There's a little hotel here that's for sale.
and then here's the trading company.
Yeah. Going by the whole thing. Right here. It's still for sale right here.
Yeah.
Oregon Hotel. And it's called the Oregon Hotel. I mean, you got the name, Oregon Hotel. I forgot toilet paper. Oh, we went through Long Creek, which is kind of your center of gravity if you need to stop in and get some fishing lures or a little bit of food. But hopefully you don't, because it's a long trip out. And then we just went through Ritter Hot Springs, and now we're going from the middle fork of the John Day River up over the pass, and then we're gonna drop down into the North Fork of the John Day River. And then we'll go downriver on the North Fork. Not too far past the property, we'll run into the confluence of the Middle Fork and the North Fork. But this is the only way to get there. It's the rest of the Middle Fork is roadless. So now we're kind of getting into some pretty wild country. That's all I have to say about that. Yeah, it's got little green spots in here. That's pretty cool. Like that. How green that is up there. Yeah, the unique part about this section of river is that most of the rivers east of the mountain have a road going next to them, because that's the easiest access from point A to point B. You know, otherwise you're trying to go around or through a mountain. Once you get to the gate, then that's it. Like, there's nobody else coming through unless you got to access, gate access, and that's really just 3 owners downstream from this property. And you don't have anybody walking through your property fishing the property. It's just once you get past that gate, you're at a point of no return until you get to Monument. So it is very limited use on the property. So we've come out of Long Creek, dropped into Ritter, and then we've gone up and over the top, and now we're down where the crossing is on the North Fork of the John Day. And in this area is where, if you're gonna do a float on the Wild and Scenic, which is only a couple months out of the year, only during high water, the CFS has gotta be specifically, I'm not sure what it is, but it's gotta be high enough so you can get over some of the rock bars. When it's high enough, that's about the only time you'll ever see people on this property, not on the property, but floating by on a day or a couple day trip from here to Monument. So this is when things start getting a little bit rough. We aired the tires down, and we've got about 4 miles to go. The last 4 miles, it takes about a half an hour. You just kind of want to go slow, and every once in a while you might stop and maintain the road or dig out a pothole. So anyway, next 4 miles, we'll catch up with you. This is what we call strategic access. I mean, nobody's gonna drive around that gate. They can't drive around the upside. I think otherwise they're gonna end up in the river. We're on the southern portion of the property, the downstream side, going towards Monument. And this is Ditch Creek, which is probably a 40-mile drainage, and it cuts a deep ravine into the property. Property's on both sides. It's a really gamey area. So if you are out here in the winter, or if you do have some tags, you're likely to spend some time in here, or at least glassing through here. There's always something happening in this drainage. This property comes with 2 LOPs, and that's basically what you're gonna get with that is 2 elk tags. It's a cow or bull. You have to pick what you want. And then there's 2 buck and 2 doe tags as well. And if you're hunting for cow, really, your season is quite long. You have 2 seasons that kind of go back to back. So a lot of time, a lot of flexibility. Chances are in the summertime, this is probably where you're gonna be spending your time. This is late spring, mid-spring right now, so the water's up a little bit. But the summertime when the water goes down, it turns into a kind of a rocky beach area, and the water's moving a lot slower. One of the best things about this property is if you're fishing for bass, you're gonna catch one every single time you cast. You'd be surprised if you didn't catch one. And that's the same way all the way up and down this river. There's all these little pockets and holes, and when the water slows down here, it's a lot of fun for the kids and the youngsters. For the adults, if you're feeling like a little adventurous, and this is in the summertime after the high flow goes down, you can run a Polaris down, run your ATV down, 5-10 miles downriver, and there's reciprocal easements with a couple of the landowners farther on downriver. Leave one down there, come back up, and put your paddleboards in, and you can have a nice leisurely float down 5 or 10 miles, or however long you want to go. And there's a couple of rock bars. It can get a little exciting, but it's nothing too challenging. This is a split zoned property, and it has a lot of record. So a lot of record means that it is buildable. You could use the current site where it's at. There are some restrictions on that, being inside the Wild and Scenic designation, or you could pick another spot. There used to be an old cabin up on top of the hill over here where there's an active spring, and actually a developed spring. Across from that is a big, nice, flat area for camping, and then it has all of this other side of the river that you could play with. And in the summertime when the water gets low, or late spring, then it's a lot easier access over to that section of the river. So now we're gonna head up to the top. Fantastic views up there, enormous property, and once you get up to the top, there's hundreds of thousands of acres of Forest Service and BLM that you can play on. So let's go check it out. We've come up close to the top of the property, up on the tall bench, and I don't know if you can hear it, but the chukar over there are taunting us right now. Usually when we come around the corner on this part of the property is where sometimes you can see the large herd of elk, and they like to sit on top and have a pretty good view of the valley. This whole area is teeming with game. This is a really interesting geologic area. If you look behind us at the Potamus Point, you can see at least 20 layers of lava flows that work their way down to the bottom to where the river's at right now. And it is a steep, pitched canyon. It's not like Hell's Canyon type of steep, but it's a very dramatic a canyon that runs through here. It's not often that you see something that's a river that cuts through an area like this North Fork of the John Day cuts through the geology in this area. After a long day of playing in the river, rafting, kayaking, fishing, hunting, or just hiking or relaxing, imagine yourself ending your day in this spot. All right, we're packing up and heading out, and thanks for taking the tour with us. If you're interested in this place, contact your agent today.